So you think that modern metal guitar tones are boring. They're too clean, too generic, you know, not raw enough, not dirty enough, kind of overproduced. Is that what you think? And then I'm pretty sure you love fuzz pedals, fuzz distortion. You know, the king of distortion, over the top distortion. Fuzz distortion makes you feel like a real man, right? Makes you grow a beard. Right, the only problem with fuzz distortion, as cool as it sounds, it's not precise enough for modern metal. Too loose in the low end and, yeah, simply not fast enough, not precise enough, too compressed. That is a tragedy, you know, we've got those two worlds, fuzz distortion over here with a lot of mojo and character, but not precise enough, too loose in the low end. And over here we got metal distortion, very tight in the low end and very precise, but a little boring. That is a tragedy. But you know what? I'm here to help. Today we're gonna find the ultimate compromise. We're gonna blend those two tones and we're gonna find the best out of two worlds. And it sounds like this. Let's get started. So I've got 4 different fuzz pedals here. A lot of fuzz. That will be a lot of fun. That will be a lot of fun. So we've got 4 pedals to check. But the first question is a technical question. How do we actually combine several channels of distortion? Well, you might know some guitarists who have some kind of split setup. Guitarists who play 2 amps at the same time. Because that's basically what we have to do now. We need 2 setups, we need to split the signal. And what most guitar players do is they split their guitar signal, they go into 2 amps, they go into 2 cabinets. That is the most simple solution, but it's not the smartest solution. Because it has one disadvantage, and that is that you end up playing 2 cabinets and you end up playing 2 speakers that you need to mix together here in the studio again. That means you need 2 microphones, they need to be in phase, and that needs to be mixed, so that is complicated. You also need 2 power amps. I mean, it's a versatile setup, but I want something more simple, something a little smarter. So what I'm doing is I'm using 2 preamps and I'm mixing together those 2 preamps into 1 power amp. And that power amp goes into 1 cabinet. We are using my beloved Brunetti Extra Lead for this because this amp has a parallel effects loop. That is what we need to mix in another signal into the power amp. So it works like this. The guitar is going into a splitter, my Lehle splitter here, and is split into 2 channels. Then we have the fuzz channel, so it's going through all those fuzz pedals, into the clean channel of the Brunetti, into the power amp, into the cabinet. But then we have the other channel, and that one is going into the REVV Gen4 pedal that you've seen in my latest video, which is a great sounding modern metal preamp. It looks like a pedal, it is an entire preamp and can be played straight into a power amp. That's the cool thing. So we're going into that pedal, that's our modern distortion channel, and that channel goes straight into the power amp of the Brunetti. And then at the back of the Brunetti, I can mix those 2 preamps, those 2 channels into the power amp. Right now, I have them set to 50-50 because I don't want to creep behind the Brunetti amp all the time. And I'm using the volume control of the pedals down here to blend them. So that is how I do it. One additional information is that I'm playing a tube screamer because I like to boost things. And that tube screamer is in front of the splitter. So when I engage the tube screamer, I'm boosting both channels. Finally, we are going from the Brunetti into my live room over there because we're playing a real cabinet and it's really loud over there. That is, as usual, a Mesa Boogie 4x12 we're listening to one speaker, to my favorite speaker, the EMINENCE DV77 Slipknot Mick Thompson signature speaker, and it's mic'd with one SM57. Once again, if you like that speaker, check out my official EMINENCE IR pack. There's a link below. It's really sexy sounding. That's all. So let's start with the first pedal. So let's start blending those pedals. We got 4 fuzz pedals here, by the way. I'm not a fuzz expert, but the cool thing is my dear colleague Kai, who works here at Kohle Killer. Do you know Kai? Leave a comment for Kai, please. He's cool. He owns a lot of fuzz pedals, and he told me there are basically 4 different types of fuzz pedals, and he gave me all those 4 types. So we have a Big Muff, we have that Blender from JHS pedals, which is that legendary Rolling Stones Satisfaction kind of fuzz, right? From London, whatever. We got the Superfuzz from Behringer, which is a copy of the Boss Fuzz, that octave fuzz thing. And finally, the Fuzz Phase. Enough fuzz. I mean, I don't really care about the history of fuzz pedals. I just want to see if I can make them work in a metal context. We start with a Big Muff. The clean channel sounds like this. It's not really clean, because that's boring. The REVV is turned off. That is instant desert rock, right? Okay, so let's play with the tone knob first. I think we need more presence or treble from the amp. Much better. And let's engage the tube screamer so things get tighter. Ah! That actually sounds pretty good. So, the tube screamer is not adding any gain, right? Let me turn it off. It's more like an EQ, you know, taking care of that boomy low end and adding some bite. Wow, that sounds so much better already. Okay, now it's time to, let's check out the REVV. Turn off the Big Muff. It could be a little brighter. Yeah, that's a good sounding, pretty cliche modern metal tone. But since the Big Muff is already pretty cool sounding, let's start with the Big Muff and then I will slowly blend or mix in the REVV. This is the Big Muff alone. Now you can hear the attack of the REVV, that mid kunk kunk kunk. That sounds great. You know what I love about this? You got the precision in the palm mutes coming from the REVV. This is really tight. But if you listen to the single note, you have the sustain from the Big Muff and that fuzzy bzzz. Without sounding too broken or too fucked up, it's just a touch more dirty. I love that. Can I get some applause? This is fantastic. This sounds great. Oh, I will use this setup for sure in a lot of productions. And the cool thing is, I mean, you have those two volume knobs, so you can find any combination. You can make it more dirty, less dirty, whatever you want. And you don't even need to mix any microphones, you know, no complicated stuff. Very simple setup. Big Muff and REVV, I love it. Okay, next pedal. This is the Blender from JHS. So let's see how this one sounds. I will turn off the REVV. So this one sounds a lot more broken. The tube screamer is on. I'll just leave it on all the time now. So that has a cool broken high end. Yeah, it could be a cool ingredient for a slam death metal tone. Whatever, let's mix in the REVV. Let's just see what happens. And what seems to be a great black metal sound is actually an out of phase problem. So I guess the Blender is like changing the phase, changing the polarity. But the good news is that our Lehle switcher has a polarity switch. So let me just flip that one. And our low end is back. This also sounds nice. A lot more like mid forward, a lot more aggressive, kind of HM2 broken in the highs. That sounds nice. Slimy. So that sounds even more precise than the Big Muff setup. It also sounds thinner, more aggressive, but hey, that could also work. That sounds more fuzzy, more broken, but in a nice way. Maybe let's have the REVV a little louder. This is the REVV alone. With just a touch of the Blender. And this is so interesting. Millions of options, right? This is fantastic. I mean, we already have two cool sounding setups, right? One is the Big Muff, which is big balls, kind of ballsy sounding and very precise and fat sounding. And the Blender is more broken circuit kind of, sounding, more treble, more mids, more bite, but very nice as well. Next pedal. The Fuzz Phase. Maybe we have to switch the polarity again. Yes, out of phase. Instant Dark Throne. Playing this pedal with the tube screamer and EMG seems to be too much. It's already like pumping, super compressed. Yeah, let's try to blend it with the REVV. Let's see what happens. Sounds even more broken. That's one thing I forgot to say. A problem that fuzz pedals have is like the note, the separation. And that works so much better if you blend in a distortion. So this sounds closer to the Blender, I think. Just got a pumping and compression, even more broken. Really, really kaput. But not as cool as the other two. Okay, that's too much. So there's only a very small sweet spot with this pedal. I like it when guitar tones have character. Okay, and the fourth pedal, here we go. Turn off the fuzz phase and turn on this super cheap Behringer copy of that Boss, I don't know what it's called, Boss Fuzz, that octave fuzz thing. And I'm using mode 2 here, because mode 1 kind of sounds too close to the modern distortion. Holy shit. Can't get more compressed than this. Wow, this sounds really shitty. Yeah, what can we do? Let's just blend this. Let's start with the REV. And let's add the Behringer fuzz. Nasty. Very in your face sounding. I mean, that pedal sounds really shitty soloed. Sometimes it's funny if you play a certain guitar tone and then you start playing certain riffs. So now I started playing stuff like disharmonic shit, you know? Well, it's adding character once again, right? So if let me just go back to the REV alone. Nothing wrong with it, right? But if you ask my mother, you know, what sounds more nasty, this or this? You know the answer. The low end is out of control. So all those setups need a little fine-tuning. I haven't even touched the amp. So what have we learned today? What can we take away? First of all, it's cool to experiment, to do some, you know, crazy things, to combine different channels, just, you know, be creative. And I have to thank you because it was actually your idea. Quite a few people, after my last video where I was showing you the pedal from Jupiter. By the way, there's also, if you still want to get some Jupiter pedals, I still have a discount code for you. Check this out. So after that video, there were a lot of comments saying like, hey, why don't you combine? Why don't you blend distortion and fuzz? Because most fuzz pedals sound, you know, not metal enough, not tight enough, not precise enough. So that was your idea. Thank you very much for that. I'm surprised that this worked so great. It just worked amazingly. It was just fantastic, right? I'm gonna use this a lot, and I want you to try this. All you need is some kind of splitter that works. You need an amp and some pedals. I'm sure a lot of you have enough material, enough gear at home to find a setup that could work. So let me know if you are trying stuff like this, or if you have already been combining several channels. Whatever, that will be interesting because, you know, I'm trying to answer most of the comments as usual. So leave a comment, ask me something, or tell me something, whatever. That will be fun. Subscribe to this channel. I want this channel to grow. So tell everybody, share the video on Facebook, tell your friends and grandma. I mean, she knows already, probably. She knows. She loves me, right? Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Here are my socials if you want to see more stuff from me on Facebook or Instagram. And finally, I got an email list. A lot of you are already there, where I'm doing some private videos every now and then. So if you want to see more of me, you better give me your email, and sell your soul to the devil. It's worth it. So, and then sometimes you can win stuff and blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's a list of all the gear used in this video below, a lot of links, so you can check that out in case you're interested in any of the gear. So thank you for giving me the idea for this video. And as usual, I see you in hell, motherfuckers. Bye-bye.